Seniors, the 2 worst nuts you should never eat, and 3 you must eat. Have you ever sat by the window on a quiet morning, coffee in one hand, and reached into that familiar bowl of mixed nuts sitting on your kitchen counter? It feels like a gentle routine, doesn't it? A little crunch between meals, something the doctor would probably approve of. After all, nuts are healthy, or so we've been told. But let me ask you this. Gently, what if the very nuts you've trusted for years were no longer working in your favor? What if 2 of them, perhaps even your favorites, were quietly draining your strength, clouding your mind, and interfering with your medications without you even knowing? You see, at this stage in life, every choice we make, every bite we take, carries a deeper weight. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. About choosing wisely, not just eating healthy. After 3 decades walking beside aging patients, listening to their stories, tracking their blood work, and watching their habits change their outcomes, I've come to realize that not all healthy foods are truly healing. And in today's video, I want to share which nuts to avoid and which ones to treasure, so that you can feel stronger, steadier, and clearer each day. Let's walk through this together. Just you and me. Part 1. 2 common nuts that may harm aging bodies: peanuts and cashews. 1. Peanuts. A familiar snack that may be silently working against you. Let me tell you a story that might sound familiar. A patient of mine, let's call him Harold, came in for a checkup. He was 72 lively, still played cards with his buddies every week, and loved his peanut butter toast in the morning. It was a comfort to him, a food from his childhood that never left his kitchen. But Harold had been feeling more tired than usual. His joints were stiffer. His doctor had just adjusted his blood thinner. He thought it was just aging until we looked closer. You see, peanuts are not actually nuts. They're legumes. That's not just a botanical detail, it's a health issue. Because peanuts grow underground, they're particularly vulnerable to mold contamination. One mold, Aspergillus flavus, can produce aflatoxins, compounds that over time may burden your liver without any obvious symptoms. Now, when we're young, the liver is resilient. But in our later years, its ability to filter toxins slows down. What was once harmless at 40 can become taxing at 70. For Harold, this was the case. His liver enzymes were mildly elevated. He was shocked to learn that his lifelong snack might be part of the reason, but there's more. Peanuts are packed with omega-6 fatty acids, which we do need, but most of us already consume too many, and without enough omega-3s to balance them out. Omega-6s promote inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation doesn't scream for your attention. Instead, it whispers stiff joints, foggy thinking, sluggish mornings. And here's something that's easy to miss. Peanuts are naturally high in vitamin K. That's fine for most people. But if you're on a blood thinner like warfarin, it can interfere with how your medication works. I've had several patients whose INR levels fluctuated wildly, and we traced it back to the peanut butter they were faithfully spreading on toast. Speaking of peanut butter, most store brands add sugar, salt, and hydrogenated oils. These additions may elevate your blood pressure, stress your heart, and further inflame already sensitive joints and vessels. It's not just the peanut, it's the package it comes in. When I asked Harold how he felt a few weeks after cutting back, he smiled and said, "My hands don't ache as much in the morning." Sometimes, it's that simple. If peanuts or peanut butter have been a staple in your life, don't feel guilty. You didn't know. But now that you do, it's worth listening to your body. You might just find more energy, less pain, and better balance by making this one change. 2. Cashews. Creamy comfort with a hidden cost to bones and blood sugar. Now let's talk about another favorite, cashews. They feel soft, elegant even. They show up in trail mixes, non-dairy cheeses, and creamy sauces. And many older adults reach for them because they're easy to chew. But cashews, my friend, come with their own quiet risks, especially for the aging body. Cashews are high in something called oxalates, natural compounds found in many plants. The problem is that oxalates bind to calcium in your gut and prevent it from being absorbed. So even if you're drinking milk or taking a calcium supplement, if you're regularly eating cashews, your bones might not be reaping the benefits. I've watched patients with thinning bone scans grow frustrated because they thought they were doing everything right. What we eventually discovered was that their daily handful of cashews was blocking calcium from ever reaching their bones. And as you and I both know, as bone density declines with age, the consequences of a small fall become more serious. But that's not the only concern. Cashews have a higher carbohydrate content than most other nuts. That means for seniors managing blood sugar, especially those with prediabetes or diabetes, cashews can lead to post-snack blood sugar spikes. Those spikes, repeated day after day, quietly damage the small blood vessels in the eyes, kidneys, feet, and brain. I remember a woman named Joan, a soft-spoken retired nurse. She was struggling with slow-healing sores on her feet. After we adjusted her snacks, removing cashews and adding more supportive choices, her blood sugar improved and her circulation followed. Another challenge: oxalates don't just affect calcium absorption, they can also crystallize in the kidneys, forming stones. And as we age, many of us don't drink as much water as we should, meaning oxalates have a greater chance of collecting where they shouldn't. Even the texture of cashews, while soft, can be misleading. They're dense. For seniors dealing with dry mouth, dental work, or reduced chewing strength, they can be surprisingly hard to swallow or digest. A few of my older patients have had choking scares not from something hard and crunchy, but from these seemingly gentle nuts. All of this doesn't mean you have to fear cashews, but if they're a daily habit, it's worth considering a swap. Your bones, your kidneys, and your blood vessels might thank you for it. Part 2. 3 powerful nuts that support senior vitality: almonds, pistachios, walnuts. 1. Almonds, a daily ally for bones, muscles, and brain. Let me begin this part with a little memory from my own kitchen. My mother, in her 70s, used to keep a small jar of almonds by the window where the light came in during the late morning. She didn't know all the science behind it, she just said, "These make me feel stronger." And she was right. Almonds are more than just a crunchy snack. For older adults, they are one of the most complete, well-rounded nuts for daily support. Let's unpack why. First, bones. Almonds are rich in both calcium and magnesium, 2 minerals that become increasingly vital as we age. Magnesium, in particular, plays a unique role. It helps move calcium into the bones, where it builds density and strength. Without magnesium, calcium can linger in the bloodstream and even deposit in places it shouldn't, like the arteries, contributing to stiffness. I've seen bone scans improve after just a few months of incorporating almonds alongside other lifestyle changes. Not by magic, but by daily care. The body responds to consistency. Next, let's talk about muscles, the silent protectors of balance and mobility. Almonds provide plant-based protein and healthy monounsaturated fats that help preserve lean muscle, especially for seniors who may not consume as much meat. This kind of support becomes critical. In a large nutrition study, seniors who ate almonds regularly performed better in physical function tests. They walked more steadily, climbed stairs with greater ease, and experienced fewer falls. It's a quiet kind of strength, built over time. And then there's the gut. Many older adults struggle with digestion, constipation, bloating, or nutrient malabsorption. Almonds contain gentle, natural fiber that helps keep the gut moving, nourishes beneficial bacteria, and supports the body's ability to absorb key vitamins. A healthy gut means better energy, better mood, and better immunity. But perhaps the most underappreciated part of the almond is its skin. That thin brown layer contains antioxidants that help protect brain cells from oxidative stress, a factor in memory loss and mental decline. A few of my patients have told me that almonds help them feel sharper during the day. Not in a caffeine kind of way, just clearer. So how do you make almonds part of your day? Simple. A small handful, about 15 to 20 raw or dry roasted almonds. Chew them well, enjoy with water, and let the act of eating be slow and mindful. Let it be a moment of nourishment, not just habit. Now, if you're someone who needs support with vision, blood pressure, and calmness, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by what we'll explore next. 2. Pistachios, small green jewels for eyes, heart, and steady energy. Pistachios have always fascinated me. They're colorful, festive, and almost playful. You have to work a little to open them. But in that small shell hides a wealth of healing for older adults. Let's start with the heart. Pistachios are rich in potassium, a mineral that helps the kidneys eliminate excess sodium and maintain blood pressure balance. For seniors who are trying to reduce salt but still enjoy flavor, pistachios offer a helpful natural support for vascular health. I had one patient, George, who suffered from resistant hypertension despite taking medication. We looked into his diet, and his sodium intake was subtle but consistent, mostly from packaged snacks. We swapped those out for unsalted pistachios. Over 3 months, his blood pressure began to level out. The change wasn't instant, but it was real. Now let's talk about the eyes. Pistachios are uniquely rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 carotenoids that concentrate in the retina. These compounds are protective against macular degeneration, a leading cause of vision loss in seniors. Vision isn't just about reading or watching TV, it's about safety, mobility, and independence. I often tell my patients that clear sight reduces falls. When you can see where your feet are going, even in low light, you move with more confidence. What's more, pistachios offer a powerful blend of protein and fiber. This duo helps stabilize blood sugar, providing steady energy without spikes and crashes. I've had patients tell me they no longer crash in the afternoon once they start including pistachios in their midday routine. And here's something beautifully simple: having to open each shell slows down the eating process. This natural pacing encourages mindfulness. You eat less, digest better, and savor more. A good daily serving, about 1 ounce, that's roughly 49 pistachios. Go for dry roasted, unsalted versions. You'll get all the benefits without the added sodium. If almonds are your foundation, pistachios are your rhythm, supporting blood flow, vision, and energy in quiet, graceful ways. But the next nut we'll explore may be the most profound of all, especially for your mind and mood. Let's turn now to the walnut. 3. Walnuts, the brain's favorite snack. When I show a walnut to my patients, they always smile and say, "It looks just like a brain." And I respond, "Exactly, and it happens to be one of the best foods you can eat for your brain." Walnuts are the only nut rich in alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. ALA reduces inflammation and nourishes the delicate membranes of brain cells, helping them stay flexible, communicative, and resilient. As we age, inflammation tends to rise, and it's often inflammation, not aging itself, that blunts memory, clarity, and mood. I remember a gentleman named Richard, a retired professor. He began forgetting names and losing his train of thought mid-conversation. We didn't panic. We looked at the foundation: sleep, blood flow, nutrition. One of the simplest changes we made: a daily serving of walnuts. Over the months, Richard didn't reverse time, but he began remembering appointments again. He joked more. His confidence returned. His wife said, "It's like he came back into focus." That's what walnuts do. They don't perform miracles, they support the systems that carry you through your day with presence and steadiness. Walnuts also support heart health. They lower LDL bad cholesterol and improve arterial elasticity, helping more oxygen and nutrients reach your brain, muscles, and organs. Better circulation, better function. They're also rich in polyphenols, plant compounds that reduce oxidative stress throughout the body. That means less cellular damage, less fatigue, and more resilience overall. One more gift. Walnuts contain melatonin, the same hormone your body naturally produces to regulate sleep. Just a few walnuts in the evening can support deeper, more restful sleep, and we all know good sleep is the secret to clearer thinking, better mood, and stronger immunity. They're easy to chew, easy to digest, and gentle even on sensitive stomachs. Just be sure to keep them in the fridge. Their oils are delicate and can go rancid at room temperature. My recommendation: about 7 walnut halves a day. Add them to your oatmeal, your salad, or enjoy them on their own slowly, mindfully. Together, almonds, pistachios, and walnuts create a triad of support for your bones, brain, heart, and beyond. So here we are, you and I having walked through a journey that started with something so small, a handful of nuts. But as you've seen, the smallest things often carry the deepest impact, especially in the later chapters of life. We uncovered 2 nuts, peanuts, and cashews that may no longer serve your body the way they once did. Whether it's the silent burden they place on your liver, their interference with calcium absorption, or the way they quietly aggravate blood sugar and inflammation, they remind us that not every healthy food fits every season of life. But just as gently, we discovered 3 powerful allies: almonds, pistachios, and walnuts. Each one, in its own quiet way, strengthens the parts of us that matter most, the bones that hold us steady, the brain that holds our memories, the heart that beats with hope, and the eyes that keep us connected to the world around us. I've spent over 30 years listening to the bodies and stories of older adults. And if I've learned anything, it's this: aging well is not about perfection, it's about attention. The kind of attention you gave today, reading, reflecting, opening your mind to a simple but powerful shift. So if this video made you pause, made you think, or made you curious, I encourage you to share it with someone you love, maybe a neighbor, maybe your daughter, maybe your bridge partner. Let's help each other grow older with more awareness and grace. And I'd love to hear from you. Which nut surprised you most? Which one will you try this week? Leave a comment. Your story might inspire someone else. Until we meet again, be kind to your body, patient with yourself, and always curious about what's possible. You deserve to age with strength, clarity, and joy, one small bite at a time.